Hello everybody, my name is Anson. Welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 New Orders America. Let us continue on from where we last left off. So we have a few days. What is this? This is 8 days? To pass the National Labor Relations Act. Unfortunately for me, is I need 100 political power, which I do not have. Because right now we have, what is this, 44, we have 49 votes. I have a feeling that this is actually going to fail, which is a little embarrassing for me. I don't think there's anything we can do to gain more political power. Weekly manpower. Is there anything we can spend points on? Like, is there anything in foreign policy, maybe? Because sometimes there's like a spend. No, unfortunately not. So I think we're just kind of screwed at least a little bit. You know what, while we're here, why not destabilize Japan a little bit? We've got a 100% chance success rate, so we might as well while we're there. So the National Labor Relations Act, I think, is going to fail no matter what we actually do. Because I mean, what, 100 points? Not great. It's not great. Another thing I was actually looking at is trying to fix our economy. Because we're actually at 10.461% inflation, which is not great. It's actually pretty bad. So what I was thinking is, what if we cut military spending? Because right now we're not actually engaged in any wars. So I don't think that there's a reason to... Like, what do we lose here? I mean, I guess we lose some stability in war support, but we're already at 100% stability, so that doesn't really matter so much. I mean, I guess the military professionalism will start ticking down. But that honestly seems fine. I'm going to cut you down to 0. I mean, we actually still get positive modifiers. They're just not as positive. The 25% factory output debuff isn't great. I will say that, but at the same time, we're America. We're okay on that. And that is going to give us a yearly surplus of 0.499%. And I was thinking, on top of that, what if we have a tax? I mean, actually, that costs us 50 political power. So you know what? Maybe we won't do that at least right yet. But if we have a surplus, if we're actually making money, we can start paying down our debt of $318 billion, which will reduce our debt services, and maybe that'll kind of have a feedback loop. If we're lucky. If we're lucky. It will ignore you. Decision available. Ignore that as well. We're no longer affected by military. Oh, yeah, we want to also do more austerity as well. Oh, that costs 15 political power. I mean, actually, even without the austerity, we're actually still making a bit of a surplus here. So we're still happy with this. We're still happy. We're still looking pretty good. There is a referendum in Transnistria. Okay, what are they up to? I guess that's what they want to join up with Ukraine or with Romania. I don't know if it really matters so much for us. They're both hostile governments. You know, actually, do I want to like stop training units as well? I think the answer is yes. So I'm going to disband those units, or not disband them, but we're not going to train those units right now. We're going to assign to this army. That sounds okay. And I'm wondering, do we want to pull the same trick that we pulled when we played as, when we played as Kane in Culture Creek, where we just disband a bunch of our aircraft? Because I'm pretty sure the game will not consider those, you know, the ones in storage as costing us money. I mean, that would theoretically lower our... Where is it in here? It would lower our military score, I believe. But we're so far ahead of everybody else, so we'll still be in first place. So let's see. If I was to disband all of these aircraft, just the ones, you know, in mainland United States right now. Because again, I mean, we don't lose them. They're not getting deleted. They're just going back into storage. That's going to take our economy from... Military spending. Does it say how much is spent on the Air Force? No. But if I disband all these aircraft, we're going to go from 69.3 to... Maybe we'll give it a few days to figure that out. We'll go from... 69... Okay, maybe aircraft actually don't count? There's army expenditure, there's naval expenditure. We're actually spending more money now. It's actually gone up to 70.6. I don't know what we're spending the money on, to be quite honest with you. But that is, you know, great. Fantastic. Again, this is going to fail. We have 3 days left. I mean, we're going to get close. But even if we take this, it's also a 10-day focus. Or 10-day decision. So even then, we wouldn't actually have the time to get it done. To end... Wait, no. To the end of a dream. When he last stood to take the oath of office, Robert F. Kennedy had stood before the nation that dared to hope that things could be better. Now, as he gazed out into the assembled thousands who had come to see him, he knew that hope was no longer daring. It was natural, open, loud, and proud. In their faces, the men and women, the white man and the black, the Jew and the Gentile, he could see for the first time in America that wanted the future to arrive. He beamed as he stepped up to the podium, letting the roaring cheers wash over him. Deep down, he dearly hoped that John was watching, wherever he was. We stand today in the name of liberty and justice. At the heart of Western democracy is the belief that all men are created equal, and so the extension of this belief and the enlargement of liberty for all must be the supreme goal of Western society. Others have turned from this goal and have marched on into darkness and decay, yet where they have faltered, we have pressed forward. In 4 short years, we have extended the branch of freedom and human rights to all, no matter the race, the color, or the stature in life. But as in all things, justice is never final. To walk the path of the better future is to walk a path without end. There will be those who will try to steer us from this path, those who insist that we have walked far enough. We must always recognize the fact that the work to better fulfill the promises of our God-given country was founded upon and shall never be finished. We must keep walking, keep improving, and keep striving to create a true land of liberty that all will shine in a world of darkness. President Kennedy smiled even brighter as the crowd applauded. He knew that he could not grow complacent. There were still those who would try to stop him from doing what needed to be done. Yet knowing that the majority of Americans was with him, made him all the more resolute in his ambitions. His dream, John's dream, the American dream, would be realized for the sake of those smiling faces before him. He would fight for all of them, and fight against any who would dare stand in his way. And he would do so gladly. Not because it was easy, but because it was hard. Now you're going to give me 100 political power, you piece of shit? I don't have time. We only have 2 days. Okay, well, this is going to fail. Maybe I could have planned this a little bit better. I will say this. We've secured our second term. You are unfortunately going to fail because we don't have enough... Yikes. What else do we have? Poverty rate will increase. See us more liberal. What do we have right now in terms of liberalness? We are at... Suspicion. Okay, that seems reasonable. Against support from the Senate. Oh, actually, let's take a look at our votes right now. Basically, no nationalists ever want to vote with us. At least, maybe we do want to do, garner some national support. Is this permanent, or is this passing this bill? Okay. So I honestly don't know if that's actually going to be that great for us. So you know what? Okay. One of President Robert Kennedy's signature laws has failed to clear the Senate after a dramatic showdown on the floor of its hollowed halls. The National Labor Relations Act, which promises to be one of the largest, most sweeping acts to regulate the American economy in generations, has instead fallen prey to the very forces that the law sought to tame. The wealthy capitalists and the greedy businessmen that feared giving workers even a modicum of more influence, safety, and security in their relationship with their bosses. One of the now failed NLRA's largest components included the recognition of trade unions, banning employers from firing workers for trying to intimidate and halt anyone who tries to organize any workplace, with steep penalties and fines for any company found to have broken the law. Also in the law were regulations mandating that the full-time workers be given the 8-hour workday, or at least generous overtime pay. Penalties would have been put into place to prevent companies from trying to get around this, including rules on who is classified as part-time, a contractor, or freelance. And that all categories be given the same or equivalent benefits and rights as full-time employees. One of the most important aspects of the now dead bill was the establishment of a federal minimum wage of $1.10. But this minimum wage would have been reevaluated every year based on inflation to maintain the purchasing power. The president is incredibly disappointed with the failure of the NRA. A brief statement issued by the White House said, "While President Kennedy and his administration will continue to work for everyday American workers and will encourage Congress to revisit this bill in the future." Business insiders on Wall Street celebrated the failure of the communist law, with the stock market having one of the best days in a decade after the news of the NLRA has died. Even a majority of the American population seems to agree that the act was maybe a step too far, though the individual components of the law still pull well, so maybe there was hope in the future. So unfortunately, we're going to lose some more support for our party to the Democrats, but it's okay. We'll be fine. We'll do the Spectre of Hunger next, which is going to be I mean, we'll get a little bit more political power. Party rate will improve. You know, a moderate increase in quality of life. That sounds pretty nice. Sounds nice for us. Another thing that we need to do as well, in terms of at least our finances, is that we need to stop just spending money no matter what. So that's also going to be part of our plan here, to stop spending money on stupid shit. So if we're in terms of the military, is there anything we want here? I'm going to say no to you for now. And honestly, I think most of these we don't care about too much. We're going to turn all of these off. And go back to our economy. Do you want to do a tax hike? Yes. 71.5 to 89.32. You know what? Let's just do... So what's a penalty here? Political power gain, stability goes down. You know what? We won't do civilian austerity, but we'll do some military austerity. We now have a $20 billion a year surplus, if, I mean, things stay the same, which is 4.4% of the GDP. That sounds pretty good, if you ask me. The Queen of Lilium. Why I'm leaving the Republican Party. Some often say, you are how others perceive you. Beasts, monsters, mortal foes only became so because their inhumanity was incorrigible with to certain principles, convictions. These words would surely be seen as a barb, and that perception would spread like a plague post-haste, for Phyllis Chafee. That sentence she wrote would forever sting her more than any other being living. The snickering elite political field of the battle had not been kind to conservatives throughout history. That was what she had wrote in the quiet sort of anger. Today she was no different than the last. First time such a Taft, now the Destickle coalition she had called home had betrayed them all. Conservatives from shore to shining shore had looked up to Goldwater, now like how a sick looked up to a doctor, a subjective savior. The liberals, having forked tongues, had snatched away the golden carrot. One too many times, she said. Joining the Nationalists was her stated goal. MCS and Wallace were not elitist stooges for all their buffoonery. They were not Tantalus, eternally bound to a cycle. They did not have to be driven insane. Hearth and Home had betrayed conservatives, betrayed her. The pen had become heavy in her hands. She stopped, bringing her arm across her eyes for fear tears would mark the article. She looked up in that office full of the night's darkness. She imagined a presidential office for herself, where she selected true Republican heroes, giving their portraits prestigious spots before her desk. That warm fantasy had become cold, for now those eyes were terrifying ones, staring down at her in judgment. She saw those eyes something horrible, as the pressure she had placed on the pen caused it to shatter. No dawn for the Republicans. So is the Republican Party dead? Is that kind of what they're getting at here? Is there anything else we want to do? Intelligence analytic. We do not want to spend money. That is what we do not want to spend cash. Let's strengthen pro-American sentiment in central. Can we cut budget here more? Cut down to 5 million. I mean, they have $850 billion in the bank right now, so they should be fine. I'd have to imagine. Wait, actually, wait. Does this money come from this? Does this money come from here? Do I not know how the spy agencies work? Well, I put way too much money into that, I'm assuming then. Okay. So we're going to go, I think at the end of every month is when this updates. We'll see how we've affected inflation and our GDP. Right now, real GDP growth is at 4.09%. And we'll get that to... We'll get that to 4.4. Okay, inflation went down by like, 0.5. I mean, you got to start somewhere, right? I mean, I guess, yeah, like 0.5 because we're at the 4.46. It'll take many months. It might take many years. But my goal right now is to try to solve the inflation crisis in some meaningful way. 154 political power. What do we want to spend this on? I mean, we could save it for the next bill, which I mean, I think would be reasonable. We're not going to strengthen the support of the communist in the NPP. I don't think that's really going to be beneficial for us. Do not even want to divert more attention to the military. I don't think that actually seems useful. So for us to get inflation check, we need to less than 4%, which is going to, again, it's going to take a while to get inflation to be reduced by such an extreme. But we'll try. We'll try. We'll get there. We'll get there. I believe in us. So I guess anything that ends with the word act. Anything that ends in the word act is going to actually pass a bill. I probably should have realized that. thinking about it, but I can sometimes be a little stupid. Okay, operation's been successful. Hey, 40 political power. Oh, well. Okay, so I want to see. Does this come from you? Yes, okay. We actually have a lot of money to spend on foreign operations. I'm just stupid. I put almost $1 trillion into the... Wait, is it trillion? No, we put almost $1 billion into the CIA. Could have used it maybe a little bit better. But, you know, we live and learn. We live and learn. Base artillery, go for advanced. For the research slot, what do we want? Do we have any new engineering stuff available? You know, it is almost 1970. So we can start getting the 70 techs now. I mean, actually, most of them are already underway. Year 75. You know, we'll go for research extraction. Seems good enough. Because, again, we can extract more resources. Maybe we'll be able to sell them off. We can build our hospitals and whatnot a little bit better. I think that's what we're building, right? We're building hospitals? Anybody know we're actually building in our construction? We're building oil refineries. I mean, that's, you know, basically the same thing. I know, there's some hospitals in the bottom. Do you want to build some missile silos? $25 million to operate. You know, let's increase administration. There's not that many administrative offices on the East Coast. We'll get those guys going now. I will say, the new order does run a little bit slowly. Like, once you start getting into the late game, it's not the world's fastest mod. Negotiations impending. French exiles and those holding a fort back home wait with bated breath. The plan is clear. The remnants of the Odyssey itself. Sail from West Africa along the curves of the Atlantic coast and into the Mediterranean to reach the final destination of southern France. There's only one issue. That of the rock that controls the world, Gibraltar. Without Iberian consent to sail several thousand troops and warheads through the strait, dreams of reclaiming France may well be dead in its cradle. Across the next week, French and Iberian diplomats will meet in secret in Madrid, discussing conditions and terms between the two nations that will allow the fleet to pass. While historical rivalries and fears of a renewed France eclipsing Iberia shadow the talks, the tone so far seems to be generally cordial and supportive. Madrid has lived under the clauses of the German Reich for almost 20 years, and the potential to rip apart the Nazi dominion from over most of Europe is highly tantalizing. Only time will tell if the Iberians go forward with the great reversal of the historical trend that has so far allied itself to the German cause. So they want to land in Marseille. So presumably, thing is, which France do you support? Presumably, Free France supports the French resistance. They're the liberals. I'm assuming they do not support the French revolutionaries. But I mean, I guess it's not impossible that they also do support the organization Armée Secrète, which is, I mean, they're fascist, but if they're, I mean, it may also be part of the movement of Réconciliation Nationale, the PRN. What party are you? You're the CLFN? I don't know. It's kind of hard to see exactly which France they actually support, because they don't need to go to Gibraltar to support the French resistance. They're doing pretty well. But I mean, again, the question is whether or not this fascist France is pro-Germany or pro. Because I think you're the pro-German one. So I think they might just be pro-French fascist. It's kind of hard to. Again, it's hard for me to say. I don't know exactly which France is which. I'm assuming that we are personally supportive of the French resistance, and I don't know if we can talk to de Gaulle and be like, hey, just go to Army expertise, operation, be ready for the next task. Cuba likes us a little bit more. You know, I'm not going to say no to that. Happy to see it. Happy to see it. Okay, right now the military is loyal. This starts. We don't care about this. Is there anything here we actually do want to do? Contribute to the Iberian AAS. Yes, we want to get that going. Or anything else? Okay, so this money here, does this also come from this budget? Yes, okay. So I'm fine spending more money than I thought. If that does not come out of our, if it doesn't come out of our actual debt here, then we should be okay. What's the debt right now? 3.17. So that's 80. So every month we're making a little bit more than $1 billion. Hey, 9.89 is going down again a little bit more every day, or every month I should say. So how long will this take? If we're making about, right now, about $1 billion a month, and every dollar goes immediately into spending onto, I think that's like 30 years. But honestly, again, if debt interest is 1.67, and inflation at 9.8, technically we should actually be not spending our money on debt. You know what? Let's not do auto payment. Let's actually save up our money. I have never clicked the invest button. I have no idea what the hell it even does. So you know what? Let's see if we can get that going. But I will say, at least right now, is going to be another good time for us to end this episode. So if you enjoyed, bring a thumbs up. Actually, for that, let's just click a rose by any other name. But for now, I think it's going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So if you enjoyed, bring a thumbs up. Not enjoying, click thumb down. You want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.